Howdy.
What
What's
be is this?
I don't know. It's almost like it's Thursday night. Hello.
This is terrifying.
Isn't it, though?
Thursday.
Judge is playing peekaboo already.
Yeah, you know it.
Welcome back to Thursday night, which, as per usual around here, means Nerds and Nitwits, where we explore the nerdy and embrace the nitwit. Hi, we're the Nitwits.
Heck yeah.
Heyo!
Hello. So, boys, what's on the go for tonight?
Gonna talk about
some.
some things.
Some things.
Oh,
Some
boy.
things, some dats.
Yeah, well, I think we're starting with the Fandom Forecast, if I'm not incorrect.
I do believe we are.
Wow.
This is true. This is true.
That's pretty cool. Those of you who maybe don't know, the Fandom Forecast is the time when we talk about things happening in March that are fandom related. It's pretty sweet.
It is, it is. Who wants to kick us off?
I can go fast.
Ah, that sounds
dude.
great. Especially because I think one of your things has already started.
Yes, one of my things has already started. So I'm sharing two things, but the big thing that I am sharing is Daredevil, Born Again. It is currently out. The first couple of episodes have come out. I have not watched them yet.
Same.
But it looks awesome. Like, it looks really, really good, and I'm really excited about it. They're introducing Wilson Fisk, I do believe, for the first time in the MCU.
MCU, yes.
and-
Daredevil, no.
Yeah, Daredevil is his first thing, but not his first appearance. But the main villain is Muse, and I looked him up on Wikipedia, and I am super excited because this might be an absolutely brutal TV show if they go full out with his character. So that's started this week, and it looks like it's going to be absolutely awesome. We got Punisher as well showing up. So yeah, I'm really excited. I think after watching Captain America, I am really excited for this one.
See, this is the thing, is that I now need to finish rewatching the entirety of the Netflix version that's also on Disney Plus, and Echo, because the events in Echo.
In both of those.
Yeah, Wilson
He
Fisk
does
is in both of
technically
them.
appear
Yeah,
in both of those.
Right.
but this is like the first MCU official version of the show. So I get where Noggin's coming from, but yeah, even Echo, the events in Echo tie directly into Born Again, so you have to watch all of the Netflix Daredevil, all of Echo, just to watch Born Again, and it probably helps if you watch The Punisher too.
There you go. You got a
Yeah.
watch list.
It's
Also,
gonna be
those
really
are all, at least Punisher and Daredevil, amazing. Hawkeye, great. Echo, okay.
am so excited to see our good Boston friend Ben Affleck reprise his role. I think it's gonna be sweet.
Anyways, nice try.
You heard it here first. folks.
That's good.
Are you looking forward to
Affleck
Born Again? You should
Daredevil.
let us know in the chat.
Yes, definitely do that.
Which is
And then
that
the
way.
other thing, very small thing that I'm really excited for, the early access of Wreckfest 2. Wreckfest, the original game, is a smash and crash and racing with realistic crash physics, and it's basically like a demo derby with racing, and it's got lots of cool vehicles. And the early access comes out for the new one, Wreckfest 2, later this March. So I'm really excited for that one. We'll definitely be getting into that. So that is what I had to share.
Nice.
Nice.
Well, I don't mind going next
Go for it.
because I'm super excited. I have the wonderful opportunity to bring you what is going on in the world of Magic the Gathering. So, Joel, hit that slide button, buddy.
There's that first one.
Oh,
Perfect.
baby.
It's going to be sick. I am really excited for this set. I think this is the one I'm most excited for throughout the whole year. Just the fact that it's a Magic set. This is not a foreign IP. This is a Magic set. Right here, this is 3 of the suspected commanders that were spoiled to us last week for Dragonstorm. You got a good look at a couple of different color combinations that are potentially going down. And yeah, Spirit Dragons looks like is the name of the game for the commanders. Sorry about that last one. All they had was just that last version of it, the foil. But you're going to be seeing some mill style. You're going to be seeing some graveyard stuff go down. And it's bringing it back to those dragons. Like, you look at them, 4/5 mana, 4/4, 4/5, 3/5, lifelink, flying, vigilance. They're all bringing on a different style, and just like Ether Drift, more zombies. Joel, hit the next one.
Oh, 1 second. There we go. Rolling.
Perfect. The next one here, these are just sort of 3 sneak peeks we got of creatures that are going to be coming in to the world of Magic. First off, there's Narset. Narset's cool opportunity there, Human Monk, bringing in that 3-color combo. And this is one that I had to put up there because if you are a Magic player like myself and you're realizing that there's blue and red, and you're realizing that this card allows you to take out your hand and discard it at the end of every turn and draw cards, if you put this with Niv Mizzet, oh boy, would that be exciting. The fact that you can drain your hand at the end of everything and ding everybody for some good old damage, that is just the bomb. And then the last one, though, is the other one that I was super excited for. Storm Scale Scorn. Take a look, folks. Not a legendary creature. That means you can have 4 of these in a deck. In your modern deck. That's right. This is not only other dragons get +1/+1, but this is a creature that has Storm. A creature. That means that for every spell played on that turn by anybody, this copies that many times.
That is wild.
We have a new Dragon Tempest win con, which is simply play dragons that can storm themselves, and every time it enters, ping everybody for damage. So watch out for the Dragonstorm win con. We're going to switch over to the next one here.
Okay, dokie. Some of my favorite cards coming up.
Heck yeah. Some of the ones that we're excited about here coming up is these are some of the looks at the enchantments. Oh, you went right to that one. Okay, sounds good.
Did I miss a set of cards
yeah, that's
in there?
Fine. Don't worry.
I
Folks,
did.
For those of you who are interested in the Dragonstorm, that comes out March 27th, which is actually a stream day, so we'll see what happens. We'll go over to the new pre-con commanders for Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy comes out in June, which is going to be something that they're looking at doing June 13th. It's coming out, and the idea behind this is similar to Lord of the Rings. They are hoping to bring in a foreign IP that really gets things going. I don't anticipate this to be crazier than Lord of the Rings. That's the best-selling Magic set of all time. But here's a look at some of the pre-con commanders that they have pretty much confirmed are coming out. Not being a Final Fantasy guy, these don't mean a lot to me, but
they mean a lot to me.
Their abilities, man, I really like it. I think Trace is a cool ability. Cheer is a really cool ability. I like that basics dropping down. You know, you got some 3-color commanders that are just 3 mana. And they're going to be combat related. There's some mill cards. So there's a chance that we maybe do a Magic the Gathering battle as the Nitwits with these commanders. And keep it going, Joel, because this is...
Oh, the last one? I love the last one.
High-priced card.
Man, I love this thing.
It came out. I thought it was a meme.
I thought it was a joke.
I actually had to test. I had to look. I had to take a look at it. This is Jumbo Cacturia.
Wild.
10,000 needles. Whenever this creature attacks, it gets plus 9,999. Just when I thought you couldn't make a Yu-Gi-Oh monster in Magic the Gathering, let me tell you, Blue Eyes White Dragon just got a giant cactus dump dropped on his face. Coming in at a 1/7 for 7 mana. This thing, also
It's
not a
beautiful.
legendary creature, so you can have 4 of these guys on the battlefield.
That's gross.
All you need to do is get a good old little artifact to give it trample, and goodbye, folks. That's it. See ya. But that is what has been released to us from the world of Magic the Gathering. I'm so excited.
I apologize that I missed that whole
Dragonstorm?
set of spells.
Nah, that's fine. We'll talk about it more later.
It's true.
Anyways, but yeah, oh man, both those sets look dope. Like the Dragonstorm set,
Yeah.
and then I mean Final Fantasy looks dope to me because I love Final Fantasy. Stop trying to play ads. Turn those off. Anyways, my thing for Final Fantasy, for Fandom Forecast, is coming up in just about 2 weeks' time. It is Assassin's Creed Shadows. This is a game that I have been looking forward to for a while. It's a setting that most Assassin's Creed fans have been looking forward to for years, because everybody has begged Ubisoft to make a feudal Japan Assassin's Creed, because you don't get more assassin-y than freaking ninjas. So, like, come on. It's where, like, this whole idea of assassins and stuff started. It looks so good. It looks brutal, too. Like, I watched some of the more recent gameplay videos that they released of some of the kills, and watching them, like, full-on go almost like Ghost of Tsushima style on some of them. Like, watch one guy had both of his arms cut off and then get decapitated. I was like, this is intense for an Assassin's Creed game, and I love it. So that comes out on the 19th, and I can't wait for that, because I will play the crap out of it over and over and over again. And I hope,
man, as long as it lets us play the age-old game, that is, put as many bodies in a bush as you want, I'm in.
It should. I
Will
can't.
it be Ubisoft's last game?
Ooh. A big old nope. I don't think so. I think they got other things.
Yo-ho!
Stop and stomp, dude!
Whoa!
What?
Man.
Dude,
We got
that's
a
insane.
over here.
Thank you. Wow. That's a lot. That means a lot to us.
Holy.
Gosh dang.
Wild.
Anyways. Wow. Okay. That's a thing. Anyways, we got distracted. This is the thing, is so I played Mirage was the last Assassin's Creed game, and it was good. Like, it brought it back more to its roots. It brought back those instant assassinations and stuff like that. So I'm hoping that AC Shadows kind of continues that and makes, like, I hope it's a good game. I know people are like, oh, there's this whole thing of, like, blah, 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 blah. You know, Yasuke isn't, like, a historically accurate figure. It's like, yes, he is. But anyways, it's like this whole thing of, well, I thought this was supposed to be an Assassin's game, not another Odyssey or Origins where it's just running around. It's like, okay, but you can do both. You can play it either way, which is nice. So,
Cool.
if it fails, it might really be kind of one of the final nails in the coffin for Ubisoft. So, we'll see.
Yeah.
Is Wolverine going to be in it?
Haha. It's funny
He's in
joke.
Japan.
It's a funny joke right there.
I don't see why they don't do an Assassin's Creed Marvel. I think that'd be dope.
That would be.
That would be.
Okay. And I have a few things I'm talking about very quickly here. And funny enough, 2 out of 3 have already released this month. But, you know, we're going to go for it anyway. So,
Hey, it's still March.
Exactly. On March 4th, 2 Point Museum released. This is a simulation game where you create and manage your own museum. It was released on PC, PS5, and the Xbox Series X and S consoles. In this game, you run your very own museum where you construct exhibits, design the layout, and acquire artifacts for unique and specialized displays. The developer 2 Point Games is really well known for creating entertaining sim games with creative and challenging mechanics. So if you've ever dreamed about running a museum, this might be the game for you. And it's already out, so you could go play it right now or after we watch the stream. On March 6th, which, if you wonder where it happens to be today, actually, Split
Really?
Fiction released on PS.
Oh, Cam has frozen on us.
Oh no.
Please wait while we try and get the dwarf back. I don't know if the dwarf
guess
knows
that
he's
means-
frozen, but
Can you hear me?
Yo.
there
we go.
Maybe
He's back.
he's back. All right.
So if I say beans, everyone will hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Anyways, Split Fiction released on PS5, PC, and Xbox Series S and X, and it is a cooperative, multiplayer-only action-adventure game. It follows two authors, Mio and Zoe, after they become imprisoned in the world of their own stories when they are connected to a machine designed to steal creative ideas. And so you play through these worlds, and there's like fantasy levels and science fiction levels, and you kind of play through them and beat the game. And honestly, it looks really cool. They're the creators of It Takes Two, and that game was amazing as well. So if you have a friend, you should play that game. If you don't have a friend, you literally can't play that game. So that sucks. And on March 27th, so near the end of the month, Atomfall releases now. Atomfall looks like a really cool game. If you haven't seen the trailer for it, I would probably at least watch it. It's a single-player survival game that...
Yep, there he goes again.
There he goes again.
Poor Cam. He's having...
All I needed to know was a single-player survival game. Single-player survival game? Guys.
Yeah, fair enough. But can it be multiplayer
This is
survival
true.
game? That's the real question.
Potential.
I think
Potential is there.
I love the potential. I love the face that it's frozen on for Cam too. It's just you're right though. It's not really a Nerds and Nitwits stream if Cam doesn't freeze at least once or twice or 3 times. Cam, dwarf.
I just hope that it works because he's the guy who knows about Halo.
Right? Like he's the one. Yeah, it's a Halo stream, but we do the fandom forecast first. We let people know what's going on, Gizzy. Come on.
Come on, Gizzy. We have segments. We're like the newscast from, Anchorman. Come on.
We're professionals. Professional idiots.
Professional
but
nitwits.
professionals.
Yep.
I love Lamp. What can I say?
What?
Cameron.
Rick, are you just saying you love Lamp because you see it, or do you actually have feelings for it?
Cam is like panicking in our chat right now, but so
That's
until
fine.
then, what else is going on?
Well, you know what? If I feel like it's sort of like Beetlejuice, where if 3 of us yell Cameron Dick and all dab, he'll show up.
Oh, okay. Ready?
You ready? We got to do it in order though. So we'll go Joel, Anthony, and then me. Let's do it.
Okay. Cameron Dick.
Cameron Dick.
Cameron Dick.
Huh?
No, he left. It didn't work, guys.
It had the opposite effect.
Quick, reverse it. Reverse it. You have to reverse dab. Dick Cameron.
Cameron, to Cameron, come back to us.
It work?
No. Well, yeah. What can I say? We are a bunch of professionals around here. So, anyways,
Pro of the echelon.
oh,
What?
Oh.
Hit.
he's trying. Hey, he's
Cameron!
back. He's alive. He's back with us.
I think that's a hashtag Nannertime moment.
That is a hashtag
That was
Nanner
awesome.
Time moment. You know what that
Nanner
means?
time.
Nanner
You
time.
guys can see and hear me.
We can
Yeah.
see and hear you.
And we can smell your
I'm so
occasion.
sorry. We literally have gigabit internet. I have no idea why it does this. But I'm about to go and get a 50-foot cable and just run it from the living room all the way to my
Do
bedroom.
it. It's
Yeah.
hashtag Nanner time. Spam that Nanner emote.
As I was saying,
Carry on.
it's a single-player survival game that takes place in an alternate history, 1960s, where a nuclear disaster turned much of northern England into a radioactive quarantine zone. The game is scheduled to release for PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, PC, Xbox One, Xbox Series S, and X. And if you have Game Pass, it'll be on Game Pass day one of release. So if you don't have Game Pass, it's literally the best value you'll ever get for your money when it comes to video games.
I'm
And
getting
that
that
is
game.
all for me today,
I'm getting that game.
at least on this topic.
Whoop, don't mind me. Having some technical issues
Yeah.
over here.
I think yeah, the only other thing that I was thinking of for the fandom forecast is just a reminder that Thunderbolts is coming. That's right. It's Halo time.
Ayo! It's beautiful. It is beautiful.
It is beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah. Welcome for joining us to the main event tonight. The topic tonight, Halo. And all things Halo. We're looking at books, movies, games, a TV series that shares a name but maybe has nothing to do with it. We're going to talk about that too, potentially. So, without further ado, Cameron, are you still listening to the song, or are you frozen?
I think he's frozen again.
Ah, gosh darn it.
Well, I
So
think
anyways,
the first
here's
thing off,
Wonderwall.
yeah, guys, Halo. What a series! Like, I would comfortably say that if you had to list the, in my opinion, top 3 science fiction properties, it's Star Wars, Star Trek, and Halo, and I could see an argument for them in any order. I honestly could.
Ooh.
Halo came out in the early 2000s, and it reshaped what video games could be. It reshaped science fiction. It's
true.
come out with its own tabletop game lately. Like, this is not just a small little itty bitty thing. It is something that's truly incredible. And I think the first thing off, while we're waiting for our dear friend Cameron, Dr. Halo himself, to join us back up, guys, what's our favorite Halo game?
Oh, Halo 3.
Ooh.
Me and Cam talked about this on our ranking episode a while back. Halo 3 is my top, and part of that is, like, again, it's one of those nostalgic things of Halo 3 was one of the first games I got to play with somebody I know who constantly kicked my butt because he owned an Xbox and I didn't. But Halo 3 will always be my favorite game.
That is fair. Mine is I flip-flop. I first played Halo 3 with a buddy, and then played co-op of Halo 4 when it came out. And those are awesome games and great games. But when I went through and actually played through the entire Halo series up to Infinite, my favorite by far was Halo Reach. The story that Halo Reach had, it was so good. I remember I was on call with Groot here, and I was just ranting about how much I dislike Kat. And then immediately she got shot. And the reaction that I had proved otherwise of my feelings of Kat. So,
Yeah.
What a
yeah.
moment. It's so good.
Halo Reach is my favorite because that story is so good in my mind.
Man, for me, I had to look at it. I'm a sucker for, like, the first thing, like, Lord of the Rings, you don't have it without Fellowship of the Ring. Star Wars, don't have it without A New Hope, so that usually ranks high for me. Halo 2, guys. Halo 2, even without the remastered edition, I love Halo 2.
That was going to be my next question. Halo 2 Original or Halo 2 Anniversary Edition?
Do you know what? The Anniversary Edition is so beautiful that I could sit down and watch it as a movie. If that aired, cutscenes in a row in theaters, I would pay my money. I love Halo 2. However, Reach has a special place in my heart because little do my parents know, when I was in elementary school, when that game came out, we got my buddy's older sister to phone in and pretend to be our mother so that we could get out of school, and we forged a note and we walked down the street to go play Halo Reach the day it came out. So, man, like, it's just one of those games where I was like, you know what? Social studies say what? Colonialism. Hello, Space Marines.
You said
I'm gonna say it right now. Halo 2 Anniversary makes Halo 2 better. Halo Combat Evolved Anniversary makes it worse.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Halo
I'm
Combat
with
Evolved
you.
Anniversary absolutely ruins the vibe of the original game and fully takes away from, like, especially the second half of the game where it almost gets like a horror aspect. Everything's too bright in the Anniversary.
It's true. This is true.
I whenever I play the like anniversary edition on the Master Chief Collection, I switch it back to the original graphics every time.
Yeah.
Cameron, what's your favorite Halo game?
Halo 3, finish the fight. It just the epicness of the game from start to finish, and just the constant like build up of like you're fighting the Covenant and then the Flood show up and then like everything culminating in that last fight. I just think it was such a good way to end the trilogy, and it will always be my favorite Halo experience.
So that leads into a question we got on our Discord, because now you've said ending the trilogy. Do you think that Master Chief's story should have ended with Halo 3?
Yes.
And for viewers who
100%.
maybe aren't familiar with it, Cameron, do you want to give us some backstory into why you see that as the best option?
I think Halo is unfortunately, especially gaming wise, too reliant on the Master Chief. And if you aren't aware, the guy who voices Master Chief is really old, probably gonna die soon. But I feel like Halo 3, if he had either died at the end of it, or if you don't know, basically at the end of Halo 3, the Master Chief was trying to escape an exploding Halo ring over the Lesser Ark in a human ship with the Arbiter, and only half the ship makes it through the portal back to Earth. The Arbiter was in that half, Master Chief was not. So Master Chief is just lost, floating in space somewhere random, and goes into cryosleep. And that's kind of the way that they end Halo 3. And you don't really know if he's going to come back for Halo 4, except obviously he did. But I think there's a great way to end it where he's had this huge battle. He basically single-handedly fought and saved humanity. And I think it would have been really poetic for him to either die or to stay in cryosleep and get to finally rest. Because if you don't know, the Spartan 2s have literally been trained to be soldiers since they were 6 years old. And they have never had a break from that, really. So yeah, I just feel like it would have been really poetic and really ended his story well for that to have been his end.
I can see that.
That's
It makes
valid.
sense from a story writing.
Yeah.
But looking at it, if you guys had to sit there and talk about like what is a highlight of the Halo series, this could be books, this could be movies, whatever. If you had to sit down and think about your top 2 highlights, why, and maybe why, that could be maybe the first time you used a weapon, like maybe there's a story part that you were like, yep, this is it. Maybe it was just turning it on and realizing that your mind was about to get absolutely blown, like the first time you listened to Metallica. I don't know. What would it be? What would it be?
This is
Anthony,
such a
you want to
hard
start us off?
question.
Oh man, there's
Do you have one to start us off?
there's a few. I think the first like vivid memory of like how awesome this was the score, the music of Halo 2 was just phenomenal. I think for like the main playthrough when I did the games, that was huge, and just how well done it was and how epic it made you feel just playing through that was awesome. And I think one of the other core memories that I have from the Halo series is the Halo 4 with the new weapons. It was just really, really cool how they had these new guns from the Forerunner Promethean people and whatnot, that they just, and then you had the scatter shot shotgun. Just looks awesome, was just so cool, and I was just head over heels for these guns. I I love them. I think those are like the top 2 moments for me.
Fair enough.
Nice. What about you, Joel? What are some things that just like you were like, oh man?
See, some of mine's, and maybe it's just because of the random abilities I have to just suddenly change my voice. Voice acting, one of my favorite things. So the delivery of such lines like "I need a weapon" are just the first time I heard that line. Oh, every time I hear that clip, it's so good. So that like first time I heard that, pristine. The other half, I guess, would be, there's that, or the reason why our episode is called "We'll Make It" is that whole scene, because the voice acting in that scene from Halo 2 and all that is just good. The other thing for me, I think, it's kind of twofold, because the first time playing multiplayer with my friend Zach, who it lives back home in Nova Scotia, we were family friends for the longest time. First time playing multiplayer one-on-one, getting my butt absolutely handed to me by him, even though he's only a year older than me, but he had an Xbox and I didn't. So playing Halo 3 multiplayer, just one-on-one for the first time, just the laughing, the chaotic, how the heck did you do that? Like the screaming at each other in the funniest ways and whatever else. Twofold with then getting Halo on my own for the first time and playing online for the first time as well. And back then, like, now it's like some of the communities there's some communities that are great, and they're like, oh man, that's so cool, and blah, blah, blah. And there's some that are really toxic. But back then, for whatever reason, the Halo community was just so dope. And it still is in a lot of ways. Yeah. But like, knowing that, when I finally got my own Xbox, I was 17, and finally able to play Halo 3 and all this, and playing online, and like playing with these guys that had been playing for a couple years and years on that point, had these high level accounts, and being like, dude, you're just starting? All right, stick with us. We got you. And it's just like, all right, this is pretty dope. Stuff like that is just so good to me. So that's definitely 2 of my top ones.
What about you, Cameron?
This is so difficult.
I bet. For those of you who don't know,
so many things in my mind right now.
Cameron, how many Halo books do you own?
All of them, all 33, as well as the Halo Encyclopedia, almost 500 pages of all the important knowledge you could ever know about Halo.
Are those sticky notes especially for this episode?
Yes.
What do you know about the Halo tabletop game?
The Halo table, I've actually never played it. Oh, well, no. Well, it depends on what you're talking about. But if you're talking about the new one that came out, it's kind of like Warhammer. It's really, really cool, though. It's called Halo Flashpoint. I have the box on my shelf right there. You guys get to see my chaos. That Halo Flashpoint. They did such a good job of like making it feel like you're in like a squad of Spartans and you control them and you do combat, and they did a really great job with the combat. So cool game. Anyways,
essentially for you guys back home who are like, this guy's having trouble thinking. It's not because he's like me and hasn't played a bunch of the games in a hot minute. It's because he has so much information.
He's got too much going on right now.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna list a number of quick ones, okay? Because I can. Halo Wars 1, Sergeant Forge fighting the Arbiter. Amazing. Such a cool scene. Every cutscene in Halo Wars is amazing, but cool moment. In the books, when the Spartan 2s first get their augmentation, so if you didn't know, they are super soldiers before they even get the armor, there is a scene where right after the augmentation, Master Chief does not know how strong he is, and he basically gets into an argument with 4 ODSTs, which are like the elite soldiers of the UNSC in Halo, and literally accidentally kills them all in a fight with them. Because he just didn't even know how strong he was yet. Halo 2, when Master Chief goes through the portal that the Gravemind sends him through, and there's the grunt there, and he just says "boo," and then it throws up its needler, and he grabs it out of the air.
I forgot about that.
There's so many good moments. If you haven't watched it, Halo Legends is a series of 7 episodes. Most of them are canon lore. And in one episode, a Marine by the name of Ghost gets in a prototype suit that's basically like a Spartan suit, but like souped up with like cannons and like Gatling guns on it, and basically like holds off an army of Covenant so that civilian ships can get off the planet before the Covenant come. If you were to watch one episode of that show, it's impossible to pick because they're all amazing. There's another episode of that show where an Arbiter also takes on an entire army of Covenant, and it's so cool. There's so many things I want to talk about right now, but yeah, Halo is just chock full of cool moments. If you haven't read the books, if you do read books, read the Halo books. Start with like Contact Harvest, which goes through the story of the Covenant actually like meeting humanity and then deciding that they're going to kill them all. That is also where the chopper gets created. If you didn't know, the brute vehicle, the chopper, is created in that book on a human planet, actually. Okay, I'm going to stop. I could keep going, but I'm not going to.
While we're on the topic of vehicles, I don't know if there is a game that has popularized the use of in-game vehicles the way that Halo has. Like the fact that you could fly everything.
Mm-hmm.
Everything was open to you. Warthogs was open. You could jump into Banshees. You could do all sorts of things. Like that was essentially to me what really pushed what vehicles could be in video games.
The fact that almost any gamer would know what the Warthog is a sign of something for sure.
Oh yeah. It's kind of more like a puma, actually.
I
don't know why we didn't get an image of a warthog.
If I didn't have to worry about legalities, for those of you who don't know, I have the opportunity to work at a kids camp and I run the paintball program. You bet your butt I would be strapping paintball guns to the back of quads and saying, "Go have fun." If they weren't freaking out because people could get run over, because that never happened in Halo, we just do that, dude. So like, just vehicles in that game, next level.
Yeah, and it's so impressive that they were able to bring in vehicles of human design and alien design in a first-person shooter.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how many other first-person shooters can you actively name that have decent physics and decent vehicles in them that work?
Yeah.
It's not many.
Battlefront, or Battlefield, rather.
One thing I love about Halo is they totally follow the rule of cool over the rule of like realism.
Oh,
where,
yeah.
Like, realistically, the Warthog, there's 0 armor, 0 protection. Not realistic at all, but it's cool, and that's what matters. Or even like the Falcon or the Covenant ships, like they totally go for like the look and the coolness of it over the realism. Even like Halo 2, Master Chief jumping out of a space station with a bomb and being able to perfectly get it inside a ship. That's not that realistic, but it's one of the coolest gaming scenes ever.
Yeah.
Man, yeah. It just one of those things that's just so cool.
Is Lord Potato here?
I don't know.
I need to know.
They have not made themselves known yet.
The only one that asks questions.
Lord Potato!
And I would love to answer them.
I have not.
Lord Potato, we doth want your presents.
Unfortunately, I do not see them on the viewer list. So.
Well, I'm going to send it with Lord Potato's question anyways. So, Lord Potato, when we talked about doing a Halo stream, in the stream we were talking about that actually gave us a question. He asked me to talk about the difference between the Eurodidact and the Isodidact. And we actually have images of these.
Yoink.
So, the Didact, if you didn't know, basically, man, there's so much background to this. I don't even know how to. In Halo lore, there were the Forerunners. The Forerunner race existed like 100,000 years before humanity. Well, technically, before modern humanity. Humanity also existed back then, and they were enemies of the Forerunners. But basically, the didact, so that on the left is your didact, and on the right is the isodidact. He was like the military leader of the Forerunners, and he absolutely hated humanity. Now, it was actually a human and Forerunner War is when the Flood showed up. So the Flood, if you didn't know, which you probably do, but the Flood, basically just a parasitic species that takes over any living thing with a nervous system,
Those
and
guys right there.
it all becomes part of one thing.
They make space zombies.
The Urdidact is, this powerful military leader who, interestingly enough, despised the idea of the Halo Rings. He thought he could win the war without the Halo Rings, and he hated that the Forerunners had built them. So he became the Didact. It's like a title he gained during combat in some big battle he won, and he's very hateful of humanity. Now the Isodidact is kind of interesting. So the way Forerunners work is they actually are like a bunch of subspecies of one species. So when they're born, they're just a normal Forerunner, and as they grow up, they do what's called imprinting, which is basically quickly evolving from an imprint from another Forerunner they know. Typically, in Forerunner history, your first imprint would be from a parent. So this imprinting process usually takes a couple weeks, and the Urdidact finds another Forerunner called Born Stellar. This is who becomes the Isodidact. When the Urdidact decides that he basically wants another version of himself, someone who, if he dies, could carry on the battle, but he imprints really quickly, which actually messes with the process and basically turns Born Stellar into an almost exact clone of the Urdidact. Except he doesn't hate humanity and is a kinder person, because he still has his own memories and everything, but genetically speaking, he becomes the Didact.
So, Cameron, I have a quick question for you.
Yes.
Imprinting. Can you explain that a little bit more?
It's barely explained. Basically, it's quick evolution that the Forerunners do. So the Forerunners, depending on what kind of class you're part of, they have like a hierarchical society. So they have the builders and the miners. So the builders create everything, and then the miners mine, actually. They basically just do what you think. But for example, the miners have a bunch of basically redundancies in their body to help them survive these sketchy environments. So they have extra organs and all this kind of stuff that regular Foreigners don't have. And then the Didact is part of the warrior class. So they have stronger bodies, they're faster, basically they're good at combat. So the Foreigners have these different evolutionary lines, and they follow those through imprinting from other Forerunners. The Isodidact is actually the one who ignites the Halo Rings and destroys the Flood. So this is one of the main things where you can tell he's obviously a different person, even though he's a genetic clone of the Urdidact. The Urdidact would have never done that. So if Lord Potato were here, I'd probably go on more, but I could get really into this, and unless you read 3 books, none of this ever pops up again.
But you did touch on one thing. The Halo Rings. The reason for the whole series in general.
Yeah.
Dude, if I could try to pick one spot, I don't know about you guys, but if I could try to pick a spot to go live, a Halo Ring would be pretty awesome.
It's like a planet that you can travel anywhere in the galaxy on and has its own support system.
Which is just blows my mind. That is so freaking cool.
So Gizurash actually just left a comment here too. The Covenant had a religion that was kind of what united all the species in the Covenant, and that was they worshipped the Forerunners, and they believed the Halo Rings were actually your way to become gods like the Forerunners were. And when they eventually found out that the Halo Rings actually just destroy all life, the ones in charge hid that, basically because they were power-hungry maniacs.
And then they just pull a oopsie doopsie. You all are going to be ruled by us now.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. So a little bit more about the Halo rings, because I think there's little bits and pieces that are scattered throughout the games. But what is so significant about the Halo rings besides what their namesake is?
So if you watch last week's episode, you'll have a pretty good idea of what the Halo rings do. But basically, the flood feeds on anything with the nervous system can become part of the flood. And as its mass grows, it becomes able to spread more and more, and it just keeps on going. The Halo rings destroy literally every living thing in the galaxy with a nervous system. So it doesn't actually destroy the flood, though. It destroys the flood's food source and eventually literally just starves it to death.
So it just kills all of us.
Yeah, it kills everything. So the Halo rings are controlled by a main installation called an arc. The current Halo rings in Halo lore are 7 Halo rings controlled by the lesser arc. Back, 100,000 years ago, the Foreigners actually created a original version called the Greater Arc. So this is an image of the Greater Arc. It's one of the big arms of the Greater Arc. The arcs were absolutely massive. Like the Halo ring in diameter right there is approximately the size of Earth. And then you see the arc in the background there.
Freaking massive.
So these were huge installations that actually could create new Halo rings by destroying planets. So in the center of the arc it's basically like a manufacturing forge where the Sentinels tear apart planets to make new Halo rings if a Halo ring gets destroyed. The original Halo Ray also had 12 rings, and they were actually the current Halo rings are 10,000 kilometers in diameter. The original 12 were 30,000 kilometers in diameter, but they weren't as efficient, which is why they had to have more to cover the whole galaxy.
Dang.
So one of the questions that I have going into this is like, for the Covenant with their whole religion, why didn't they just talk to the Forerunners about what the use of the Halo rings were for?
True. The Forerunners, basically most of them were actually killed when the Halo rings were activated. The Forerunners created what was called shield worlds. So some survived in these shield worlds or on the Ark, which is actually like millions of kilometers outside the galaxy. So if you're on the Ark, you are completely safe. But most Forerunners died, and then after the ignition of the Halo rings, they basically reseeded all life in the galaxy. So they had set it up, they collected genetic samples from every species they could before setting off the rings, so that afterwards they could put all the species back on their homeworlds, and the galaxy would kind of jumpstart back into life again. The Forerunners that were surviving after they reseeded the galaxy just left. They thought that the Forerunners had failed the galaxy, and they did not feel like they should be in the galaxy anymore. So they leave, and that's kind of the last you know about the Forerunners.
One of the cool things that this always makes me think of, for those of you guys who don't know, I don't know if they got inspiration from this, but there is the it's called the Salvabard Global Seed Vault up in Norway, and they have collected as many seeds and organism samples from plants so that if some major colossal event happened and Earth lost a bunch of crop providing seeds and plants, they would be able to go through and distribute them all over the world based on where they need to go so that humanity could survive.
Yeah. Gizzywash, that is a really good question. So the Flood is a really interesting origin. Before the Forerunners, there were the Precursors. So the Forerunners, super advanced race compared to modern humanity. The Precursors are like the Forerunners are to humanity, but for Forerunners. So again, this race where they are so advanced past what the Forerunners know that they're like gods, basically. The Precursors basically created the universe. They had the ability to do this thing called neural physics, which is barely explained in Halo, but basically it's the ability to manipulate matter however you want to. And so the Precursors, after, doing their thing, creating lots of stuff in the galaxy, they have this ability to become basically space dust, and it's like a sleep state that they go into. The precursor, called the primordial, his space dust gets corrupted, and he becomes the original Gravemind, which becomes the Flood. So the Gravemind has knowledge of this thing called neurophysics, and part of neurophysics is that they can travel through space-time in a way separate from faster than light travel. And it's not really explained in the book, probably because there's no way to explain that. It's just that they can do it. Yeah. So that the Flood travels through such advanced technology and knowledge that you can't even understand it.
So this is a question for the whole Nitwit crew here. In the realm of zombie mythos and games and movies and stuff, where does the Flood rank for you? Because I remember, that was because you get zombies raised from the dead, blah, blah, blah. They're in Scooby-Doo, or they're the long-crawling ones in the 80s. But, this was the first time that, for me, on my impressionable mind, I really saw just something very different. And I don't think I've actually seen a zombie concept that made different perspectives to it until Last of Us. But what do you guys think?
It is super cool. When I first played Combat Evolved and I learned about the Flood and just figured out more things about it and understood it, it's this is the really, really cool concept, especially for the time period that Combat Evolved came out.
Mm-hmm.
It's everything zombies was pretty baseline level. Your standard zombie dies, raised from the grave, undead kind of moaning thing. And here it's we get this parasite that causes creatures to just kind of rot, but as it grows, as it gains more matter, biomass, it becomes smarter. And then the day came when I learned about the precursors and I learned about the history of the Flood and how it became and how big of an issue. This is a galaxy-wide, space-wide issue. It's these are top tier. This is so cool, so unique. And I think they're some of the best iterations besides the standard.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's kind of cause especially 360 era kind of Halo with Halo 2 and Halo 3 is the only really zombie game I can remember playing is Left 4 Dead. And great game. I love the fact that there's different zombies types. So there's the Witchers, the Smokers, the Hunters, the Boomers, all that kind of stuff. But then you see the Flood and you're like, oh, look at them, they're so tiny. And then you turn the corner and you go, oh no, it's not that they're so tiny, it's that there's so freaking many of them. Oh crap. And then you see, the grunts and the humans and everything else that's being taken over by the Flood, and it's that moment of pure unadulterated panic, and you're like, okay, bye, I'm gonna run now. So yeah, zombie-esque type creatures especially is definitely top tier, and definitely top of my list for things I don't want to encounter in the next pandemic.
Yo, Joel, can you just throw up an image of the Flood again really quick?
Yes.
Oh, baby.
I really, for me, I'm not a video game guy. I'm definitely the least video game guy of the group. Stories, creatures, and the concepts, those are really get me hooked. And if you look at this image of absolute horrid body horror stuff, this is essentially what creates that cosmic horror-esque feeling of ultimate vulnerability, because it can just take on everything. It is eternally hungry, and it's those little spores, and it's just every grotesque bit. And I don't think I can honestly pick out what's my least favorite form of the Flood, because it's all of it. The Gravemind, absolutely terrifying.
Oh,
like that thing for D&D players out there, that's a CR25 right there.
Oh, yes.
Easy peasy.
Also, can we just point out, because I also have this photo too, just Gravemind and the sheer immensity that is Gravemind, who is kind of the embodiment of the Flood. Like, look at this. This is Master Chief right here. Master Chief stands at what, 8 feet, 7 feet, something like that.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, dude.
He just got
I thought the
Gravemind.
Gravemind, I thought it was terrifying back in Halo 2 before they redid the animation. The way that its muscles moved in its mouth and the saliva that seemed to drip through, you could feel every liquid in its mouth just gnashing and talking back to you.
You can tell in the Halo 2 Anniversary Remake, like, you can tell it's just a combination of flesh from stuff. Like, it's this disgusting mixture of massive flesh and organs and everything, and it's such a wild concept. It's so cool. Fun fact, in the books, actually the book that takes place at the same time as the first game, it describes what Captain Keyes feels as the Flood slowly takes him over.
Oh, that's right. It's terrifying.
The Flood is not instant. It takes over your body very quickly, and it takes over control, but you are still present in your mind as the Flood basically combs through your memories and experiences and takes them from you and adds it to its own memory. So in the book it describes as Captain Keyes tries to fight it and hold it off, and he gets down to the point where he can't remember his own name anymore. And so knowing that about the Flood, like, it is such a terrifying concept. There's a story in Halo Evolutions. There's 2 novels, and they're short stories. And in one of those, there's a short story about a guy who gets taken over by a Flood, but never has his memories or consciousness taken over. And so he actually basically has to continue experiencing existing as Flood with no control over his body, but watching himself, like, tear apart his fellow Marines. And it is crazy. It's such a good short story.
Jeepers.
I don't know about you guys, but maybe one of the worst video game deaths would be becoming a Flood. The fact that they have to comb through all of your memories and first they decide what to take. Now, Cameron, does that go back to, like, the Gravemind? Are they nearly transmitting? Because it's all one, right? Yeah, it's just a hive mind based system.
Once enough of it's collected and there's a Gravemind, it basically becomes one full mass controlling everything. Dang. So yeah, that is a Gravemind when you have one, and there can be multiple Graveminds. Like, you have Graveminds literally on different Halo rings, basically. But yeah, that's exactly what it is they combine all the knowledge that they can take from anything they take over into their own, which is part of what makes it so terrifying. Is the larger its mass becomes, the more beings it takes over, the more intelligent it becomes, the more dangerous it becomes.
And this is one of the things that really impresses me is they sat down with Halo and their show and they went, what could we do with their video games? And how many of you guys know about the Logic Plague?
Oh, baby.
Do you guys know about the Logic Plague? Okay, so this is the Logic Plague. Cameron, I love how excited Cameron is about this. This is so the Gravemind, and I'll let Cameron correct me when I say something wrong, but because they're just combing through technology more and more and, like, learning from all these memories and stuff and getting all these things, it begins to understand how different aspects should work. But during the studying, they're studying the Flood. Is it the Covenant, Cameron, who send robots in?
No, it's not. It's not even necessarily robots. The Logic Plague, the reason it's called the Logic Plague even, is that the Gravemind is so intelligent that even Forerunner AIs, which, Cortana is called a smart AI. It's super smart, basically like a human, except smarter in every way, faster. Forerunner AIs are ages beyond that even, in speed and intelligence. But the Logic Plague is the Gravemind can basically talk loops around an AI and basically use logic to talk it into being on its side instead. So this is what happens in the Forerunner War against the Flood, is the logic plague. They capture the AIs in the Forerunners are called ancillas. He captures an ancilla, and this is one that controls the greater arc, talks it into fighting the Forerunners with him, and then this AI takes a bunch of Halo rings and starts using them against the Forerunners. So that's what happens to the first set of Halo rings, is they actually get destroyed or taken over by an AI created by the Forerunners, but that has been talked into going against them by the Gravemind.
And I don't know exactly where it is, but I was watching a YouTube video in prep for this, and this guy was reading out passages of it, and essentially it's this computer is talking to the Gravemind, and the Gravemind sits there and goes, really, for all things to live, we desire unity above all else. Like, all things should work together in one form to survive as one being. And it goes, well, yeah, that's what everybody's trying to do, but they're all different. And the Gravemind goes, then let me make them all one. It's like,
yeah,
crap. This is the worst
thought process.
That's
he just
how
brought the whole idea of unison and brought it to a level of like, you can't beat that. Sorry.
And once again, this just goes to show that if two factions are warring, you need to bring in the common enemy of communism to get them to make peace. Communism makes peace as long as everybody fights it. That's the best part. You think about it, if they took the Flood and it just sat there and went, the brother, it is our galaxy.
Oh,
Russian zombie dust. I there you go. Like, it's freaking horrific, but that's sort of what it is.
Oh boy.
What if both factions are communists?
What if both? Then I don't know. Maybe
there is
maybe
no
the
such
Flood's
thing as two.
Dude.
There's
Graveminds
only
are
one.
just John Lennon. The Graveminds are just John Lennon, man.
Oh no. I don't like where this is going.
All we need is love. Love.
Oh,
Love
boy.
is all we need. That's right, Paul.
Okay. I think so. We have a bit of our knowledge of before the Halo games happening. Now I would like to shift it to like during the Halo games. Like, what sparks this Covenant human war? What is going on here? What is like the Covenant is the main like adversary that you're fighting besides the Flood. What is going on there?
So, basically, at its very basics, the Covenant, when they meet humanity, their original plan is to do what they do with most species they meet, incorporate them into the Covenant to make themselves stronger, to use their strengths to just help make their entire religion and race stronger. Then, when they get to this human planet, they were actually looking for Forerunner artifacts, because they were obsessed with this stuff. What they discovered when they found these Forerunner artifacts, though, was that the Forerunners, before they left the galaxy, had designated humanity to basically be the next species that holds what's called the Mantle of Responsibility. So it's the species that is the most technologically advanced, has the most power in the galaxy, and is meant to take care of the galaxy. The Covenant, believing that it was their right to bear this technology to become gods like the Forerunners, decides that means humanity needs to go. And that is the entire thing, is basically they find out humanity is what they want to be and decide that they are going to wipe the floor with them. And they basically do. If you haven't played the games, by the time that you get to Halo 3, the Covenant has destroyed the vast majority of hundreds and hundreds of human planets. And they don't just kill everyone, they literally use giant plasma beams meant for mining on the bottoms of their ships to burn the planet down and turn it into a glassy surface that nothing can survive on.
Well, I can't see that ever going poorly.
What?
You
You don't want to get
Like-
glassed?
This is why, like, I was so excited to do a Halo episode, because think about it. Do you know how much, like, Dances with Smurfs took from Avatar? Like, the guy who wrote that, our buddy James Cameron, like, 100% took things from Halo and how it all works. Because,
Yeah, probably.
like, if you look at their mining and all the human expansion, like, that's pretty close. Dances with Smurfs has some odd similarities. But looking at it, is there any questions in the comments, or otherwise we'll just keep going, because, like, there's so much. Maybe some of you guys didn't know how much there is. There's just as much as there is for D&D and Star Wars and all those things. Like, this is a major franchise.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm very excited to do another one sometime in the future. We can do more, which is great. I do have a question though, for the group. Looking at it, what is maybe your favorite Halo weapon?
Ooh, I have a picture of those. Which one?
Are we talking handheld weapons?
Handheld, Cameron.
Okay.
We don't need another. We don't need another Halo arc argument. We already know what Nanner Time does.
All right. After this,
on.
Gizzy, we will get to that question for sure.
Oh man. Oh man.
I don't
That is
know.
difficult.
Right? Because, like, I'm stuck between. I love the sniper rifles in Halo. They're pristine. The sound they make is great.
Yeah.
The fact that you can see the, like, bullet line as you take a headshot, beautiful. But as Noggin said during our discussions last week, the Needler is so good.
Needler is an amazing weapon. Oh man. Like, that's so difficult, because even though, like, I argued hard for the Needler, ultimately going to lose that argument every single time on the best weapon.
Hashtag Nanner Time.
Yeah, the scatter shot was so fun. I love my shotguns in first person shooters. The idea of, like, yeah, I'm just gonna run up to you and absolutely blow a hole into your torso. It's unrecoverable. It's unrecoverable. And shotguns have been always super dope. The scatter shot, oh man, like, so good. I love the introduction of those weapons in Halo 4 for sure.
I know personally for myself, I'm with Joel. I love the sniper rifles, but it's not that they're the most satisfying gun to use for grunt birthday party mods.
Oh, yeah.
That is what I have to say, man. That's another thing I know from Halo, is that when you shoot a grunt and his head blows up, it goes, yeah, and there's confetti everywhere. That is the most satisfying with a Covenant sniper.
It is hard not to pick the Spartan laser. I mean,
True.
That's also true.
the Spartan laser, it's not even on that list, Joel.
No,
by
it's
the way.
not. Look, it was the first one I found.
But yeah, I think the Spartan laser is just such a cool weapon, and even the reason it is called that is because it's so powerful that it's hard for someone not a Spartan to wield. Like, the kickback is absolutely crazy when that thing goes off.
Because for those who maybe don't know, Spartans are super soldiers.
Yeah.
They're a little
super
big.
soldiers.
Just a little bit.
Gizzy, you're right. I am also annoyed that there's no energy sword. Those are freaking awesome.
Listen,
I don't know what's
listen.
going
It was
on.
the first one I found. Okay, I was running
I
on
blame
limited
the
time.
communists.
I was running on limited time.
In the multiplayer, you can get variants of a ton of different weapons. And there's a plasma pistol, I think it's a plasma pistol, that shoots mini black holes.
What?
Halo 5's weapons and multiplayer, honestly, was sick. Warzone was such a cool concept. I wish they'd kept it.
That is dope. And
Yeah.
to, like, bring up the Spartan laser, the satisfaction when you hit a shot on on an enemy player with a Spartan laser.
So
Chef's
because you can see
Oh,
it's
yeah.
coming a mile away, but then you turn around because you don't notice it, and all of a sudden you just see this red beam. It's like, ah,
Dude.
bah.
There's so many moments with guns where I'm just like, and I am screwed. But we got a question in the comments, and I think this is actually a great way for us to start wrapping this sucker up because there's so much more we can talk about.
For sure.
Gizzy asked the question, do you think Halo should end now? And if so, at what point should it have ended?
No.
No.
I don't think Halo should end. I do think the Master Chief storyline, like I said earlier, should have ended with 3.
Oh, you had the same thought as me.
I think that they could totally diversify, and it's already proved with Halo Wars, where you can do different characters that people will love just as much as Master Chief. Jerome, Sergeant Forge from Halo Wars, both of those characters are absolutely loved by fans. Almost to the level of Master Chief, I would say. So I think they need to shift the storyline. I actually think that they should start doing mainline Halo games with Jerome as the character you play. The reason I say that, if you don't know, because of the events of Halo Wars, the events of Halo Wars take place way near the beginning of the Human Covenant War, which is like 25 years earlier than any of the Halo games that you play as Master Chief. And the Spartans in that game, when the Spirit of Fire kind of finishes up what they're doing, everyone goes into cryosleep basically for 25 years. So Master Chief, if you didn't know, is super old by the time you're playing.
Yes, Brendan.
By the
Chief
time
is the
you're
guy
playing
from
the
Halo.
games.
Or from Fortnite.
But Jerome and even the other Spartans who are in Halo Wars 3 are like literally 25 years younger than Master Chief is. So you could continue without them ever getting old for as many games as you wanted.
Yeah, I definitely think the that is the right track to go on, because Halo as a the absolute magnitude of the lore of Halo is just crazy. It is absolutely so vast. So I understand the love for Master Chief. The fact that one of the characteristics of Master Chief is because he is lucky. It's mentioned in game and in multiple areas. It's so understandable. I enjoyed the stories that came with the Halo games and whatnot, but I also agree. It's like, I think we need to explore something else.
Yeah.
Within the Halo world, whether that's like, give us a different type of Spartan, give us the controls of a Spartan 4 or something like that. It's like somebody who's a little
do that in Halo 5.
Well, okay, yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Dude, he is a Spartan 4.
It's pretty cool if you look at it. Yeah, you mean it's not called Halo? It should be called Master Chief? Maybe it should be.
Did touch on something there that is a really cool aspect of Master Chief. It is specifically stated in Halo lore that Master Chief is not the strongest, fastest, smartest. He is literally not the best Spartan in any way, except that he is him. And for some reason, he's crazy lucky and he's a really good leader, and that's what makes him Master Chief.
One of the few
Just goes to
characters
show, all you need is charisma. Best stat. It's the best one.
One of the few iterations where you can say, and it is not a meme, that he is just him. He is just him.
He is him.
So
He's just him.
Why don't we just go quickly through those images that we haven't gone through yet, just to show people some other cool stuff.
Oh, what do we got? So
Master Chief is a bard. That's the best take I've ever heard in my life.
This is from one of the books, isn't it? Isn't this the cover to
Yeah, I think that's from Halo First Strike,
Yeah, this is First Strike.
which is the third book. So it's the story of what happens to Master Chief and a couple Marines directly after Halo Combat Evolved ends.
Yep.
Which is basically they steal a Covenant ship and fly back to humanity with it.
Oh my gosh, Emma. There's this level evolution of Master Chief from Halo CE in 2001 all the way up to Halo 4 in 2012.
Heck yeah.
You can see the detail increasing in the armor as we get further along.
A lot of people didn't like the Halo 4 armor. I think it was pretty cool.
I liked it. I enjoyed Halo 4 armor.
Halo 4 is pretty dope.
The visuals of...
Yep.
I mean, this is Chief.
Another amazing moment in the Halo games. The second mission, when you walk out of the crashed ships and see the giant Forerunner, towers and this huge field.
Oh, yeah.
It's such a good moment, and the music was amazing for that.
Yeah.
If you haven't played Halo, this is Sergeant Johnson, one of the coolest characters. He's actually a Spartan 1. So the Master Chief's a Spartan 2. Sergeant Johnson was part of the Spartan 1 program.
Yeah.
Wild.
Going back to my favorite moments earlier is in voice acting. Still, one of the funniest and best lines from Halo. I know what the ladies like.
Also, for a brick, he flew pretty good.
Oh,
yeah.
He's got
so
some
good.
bangers.
Even if you just watch the cutscenes from the Halo 2 Anniversary Edition, it's worth it. This is the evolution of Cortana through all the games. So from this very undetailed purple hologram all the way up to her fully detailed hologram AI in Halo 5. This is Master Chief
in Halo
and Cortana.
5, I think she technically has a hard light body.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true.
I think
that's right. She's more solidified in that one. What else we got? These are the weapons again. Yep. What's this one? Blood Gulch! You ever wonder why we're here? Good old Red versus Blue.
If you haven't watched Red versus Blue, you should. Also, Rooster Teeth just got bought back from Warner Bros. By one of the original co-creators.
Yeah.
And he'll plan to start doing things like they used to do.
Yep.
Capture the flag on this map.
Woo. Oh, man.
Guys, we totally should do a Halo night where we invite a bunch of...
Oh, heck yeah. Heck yeah. Coming to the Didax. Oh, this is Cam's favorite Covenant ship.
I just think it looks really cool.
It's just what is this ship, Cam?
It's a Covenant agricultural ship. Interestingly enough, so it's designed basically to help feed like a Covenant armada as they move through space, destroying human planets. Funny enough, though, it basically has the same combat capabilities as the other ones. It is not defenseless in any way. It could absolutely destroy a human ship. But it just has such a weird design compared to a lot of the other ones you see, so I thought it would be cool to show people.
It looks like a wet noodle.
Typically, they serve as like the command center for an armada if they don't have a different flagship like a supercarrier.
Fair enough. Okay, so I missed the explanation. Who is it? What is this thing? And why do they appear? This is your Jan Hut or whatever.
The Jan Het. This is a species that is a part of the Covenant. So the Covenant has like their main species, which are all the ones you see in the games, and then they have what's called fringe species. The Jan Het, as well as the Sharkoi, are fringe species, and they show up in very little. So the Jan Het, as far as I know, literally only show up in the Halo Nightfall movie, which was like a movie they made before Halo 5, and it was about Locke before he becomes a Spartan.
Right.
And then that's the Sharkoi.
The Sharkoi, yeah. Lovely.
Yeah, a.k.a. Hunters.
So this is, I believe, a design that was originally going to be in Halo 2, and you were going to see them when you're on High Charity as, the Flood's starting to take over and destroy everything, but they never put them in the game.
Interesting. This one is the Hunters, our lovely worm colonies from 2 different generations.
Yeah. Hunters are just such a cool enemy.
Terrifying.
And then, when you learn more about them, they're a colony of worms that have a hive mind. And then, so 2 hunters are actually 1 colony, which is why they finally added the mechanic in Halo 5, where when you kill one, the other one gets even angrier and starts to get way more aggressive because they're basically bonded as a pair.
You mean worms with hive minds? Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh
Oh
boy.
no.
These ones are heavily
That's
armored
right,
with
Noggin
giant
and
arms on them.
Chaos. That's
Or cannon.
right.
What do we
The
do?
worms.
Oh no, not the worms again.
The worms.
I hate worms.
You don't hate them enough yet.
The only other picture we have is your lovely booster frame here.
This is, factually speaking, one of the coolest vehicles in Halo. These are specifically created for Spartan 2s. These are spaceships, basically, that attach to the Spartan Mjolnir suit of armor and becomes an extension of that armor. These things have a Gauss cannon, that's a giant thing sticking out the bottom. They have dual Gatling guns. They have a boatload of missile pods in them. They're extremely fast and agile, and they're used by Spartans in space battles with the Covenant, basically. Except they're not like in a ship. They're basically riding like a space motorcycle with a lot of guns on it. There's a whole episode of Halo Legends where you get to actually like see them using these, and they like fire the Gauss cannons, and they're fighting ships, and it's so cool.
So good. All right. That's all the remaining photos we have.
Lord
Yeah.
Potato, I did touch on the 2 didacts if you go back and watch the video, just so you know.
It's true.
Well, that really brings us to the end of it. And again, guys, there's so much more we could talk about with
So
Halo.
much. We could do like game by game and go through it and just
Yeah.
tear
If
it
you
apart.
guys did enjoy this and you really do want to see more, send us messages, say you want more Halo, say what you want more Halo about, and we can totally do it. But you got to tell us that you want it.
And
It's
if
true.
you have friends who are interested in Halo and want to know what the heck's going on with it all, tell them to check out the YouTube video after. The YouTube video is going out sometime tomorrow or Saturday, and it's going to be an epic way for you guys to rewatch it. Yeah.
Comment on it.
Heck yeah.
Oh yeah.
Let us
Leave
know what your
comments,
favorite Halo level is.
for sure.
We will respond.
We need the YouTube interaction.
Yes,
It's true.
please.
It's
I'm
true.
begging you.
Ooh.
It's true.
And with that, Groot, you posted up the socials. When's your next
me.
stream, buddy?
Probably tomorrow at this rate, because I'm sure Gizzy will want to do some more free hunts in Monster Hunter Wilds. I don't know why the clip thing isn't working. That's okay. We'll figure it out later. Yeah, that's kind of probably tomorrow. It'll probably end up being like a 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. PST time thing again, because when I'm not doing other things more important, that's what I'll be doing. We have hit the end of the story. We've finished the main story part, so now it's just a lot of free hunts, a lot of high rank fights, a lot of things that we don't really want to fight, but we have to anyways. A lot of farming, unfortunately, because we really want a particular armor set, and oh my gosh, it is a pain to get all the parts you need for it. But anyways,
Well,
so that is that, and then yeah, that's it. I don't know after
thanks
that.
for tuning in, guys.
Thanks
We
for
appreciate
listening to me talk about Halo.
Heck yeah.
Heyo.
We hope you have a Halo of a good night.
Oh.
Oh.
All right, let's roll. Good night, everybody.
Acapella, baby.
So, Michael, what you get up to this week?
So, anyways, that's where we're gonna end this episode. See you later, everybody.
Well,
Yeah,
I was
I'm
walking
not
through
like
the
a
woods and I got
pothead
this
walker. No.
stick and it just sort of it got stuck, shall we